Today's show is Beat the Books, the best Big 12 bets of the weekend, by the way. And so far, we haven't talked a lot of Beat the Books, so the best Big 12 bets this weekend, because we talked the whole relegation thing, which is a big word. I got some bets for you, and they're going to win this week. Last week, I don't know if you watched the show for the best bets, but my whole thing, Thursdays are tough. I do 6 episodes a week now because I love you guys. And what makes that a little bit tough is the fact that doing 6 shows a week is hard. So Thursdays are a shortened show where I do Beat the Books, and you get to make your best. You get to get bets and win points, money. West Virginia, money line, plus 100. Yep, I got it at plus 100 last week. And guess what? It hit 1-0 there. Kansas State, -5. Didn't hit. Miami of Ohio, -13.5. Both those teams lost outright. Kansas at Nevada. They were favored by 28. They won by 7. And then Ohio and Iowa State, I had the under 42.5. That hit. And TCU at Houston, -7.5. That hit. So 3-3. The good old gentleman's push last week. This week's best bets. Beat the book. Locked on Big 12. Number 1, Texas -14. I would buy this to 14. It's at 15 right now in most books. Buy it to 14. Baylor is what we call in the industry bad. Texas is what we call, God bless, good. UT is going to win this game by, I would say, 17 points probably. And that's like that's being real kind to Baylor. Baylor has already lost to Texas State by 11 points and lost to Utah in a close game. They played 3, I guess, close games. Their one win against Long Island wasn't close. Baylor had lost 6 games before that. Texas is a far superior team. I get it's a night game, 6:30 in Waco. That doesn't make Baylor good still. Maybe Baylor's good later down the road. They just got to prove it to me. Texas -14. TCU Horned Frogs playing a game against the ACC's SMU Mustangs at Amon G. Carter Stadium. Chandler Morris has still not been as good as I wanted to be. He was good against Prairie View A&M. Whoop, whoop. Sorry, that's SMU. He was good against Houston. Whoop, whoop. SMU was good against Prairie View A&M. And I guess, they were good against Louisiana Tech. That game was a snoozer at times. Oklahoma, they lost 28-11. TCU should beat SMU 35-21. That is a 7-point cover. They're going to cover 7. TCU's going to cover 7. The offensive TCU, you know how high-powered SMU is? TCU has more passing yards per game and more offensive yards per game by 50. Yeah. TCU does allow more yards, but I don't know. Also, the over-under here is like 65. Take the under. TCU -7, my second lock of the week. My third one, BYU +9. BYU might lose to Kansas by 4. 28-24. That's very possible. 9 points, though. 8.5 right now. Vegas is giving us 9 points on a team that just went on the road and beat an SEC opponent. You're telling me that's a serious thing, of a real thing? Hammer that, man. Kansas is not going to win this game by 2 touchdowns, 2 scores. BYU keeps it within a score if they lose. BYU +9. That's a lock. That's a level 50 lock. Let's make some money this week. Oklahoma State playing Iowa State. Similar scenario here. They may lose. Both of these teams may lose together. They may fall on a sword at the same time. They'd somehow find a way to screw it up. The over-under of 36 shows me that this 4-point line, it's Iowa State like 3.5 by the hook, Oklahoma State +4. This 4-point line, there's just not a way. The final score of this game, most likely 17-14. Vegas predicts a 17-14, 20-17 game. In that event, Oklahoma State covers 4. They're not going to lose by 4 because neither of these teams are going to score. It might end 3-0, and that's a cover. Good teams win. Great teams cover. Oklahoma State +4 this week. And then Cincinnati. This is less Cincinnati and more Oklahoma. Oklahoma seems to have this weird thing they do. They've done it the last couple of years where Oklahoma wins games they're supposed to win. Sweet. Early on. Awesome. You start 2-0, 3-0. Then Oklahoma plays obscure Big 12 team they're not supposed to beat, a la Kansas State. Oklahoma loses. Last year, they were 6-7. This is the first Big 12 opponent Oklahoma sees this season. To me, the first opponent that's really going to give them a run for their money. They only beat an SMU team that I don't think is that good by 17 points, 28-11. So I think Cincinnati goes in against Dylan Gabriel. They are the best defense that Dylan Gabriel has played, and that is a fact. Cincinnati did beat Pitt on the road. Sure, they have that loss to Miami of Ohio. Oops. Everybody's been there, right? And Cincinnati goes in with their offense that puts up 525 yards per game. Defense that holds opponents to 307, which is pretty. It's under 200 passing yards and 110 rushing yards. So it's like, above average defense on both sides. That equals 307, which just seems a little misleading. Give me Cincinnati to cover 14.5. It's going to happen. Cincinnati's not going to lose. They might lose 28-14. They might lose 35-21. They might lose 35-24. And they cover by more than I expect them to. Cincinnati plus 14.5, a safe bet. Your best bets of the week. Beat the book with Locked On Big 12. Texas minus 14. Going to hit. TCU minus 7. I don't doubt it. BYU plus 9. Lock. Oklahoma State plus 4. Guaranteed. And Cincinnati plus 14.5. Eat that. What? Let's make some money. If I win, you win. I'm going to play all these things. If you win, I win. If I lose, you lose. If you lose, I lose. I feel your pain. All right, I love you guys. This has been, and it always will be. Thanks for coming around today for the shortened show thing and hearing about relegation and bets and stuff. Locked On. Thanks for making it your first listen every single day. Dose Grande.